story time. This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own, teaching alongside another queer neurodivergent educator, and we have been rocking our twos class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous. But our teaching team is shifting and a new person is being onboarded, someone with many years of experience. So today at the lunch table, when the topic of gender and genitals came up, one of our students plainly looked up and said, "Well, I'm a girl today, but I know that teacher Co isn't." No, they're NB. And the look on the incoming teacher's face was priceless. She was shocked in a good way, and she just looked around at the two of us and said, "This class is incredible, and I am so impressed."
Gender is how you feel on the inside about whether you're a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. If you're non-binary, feel like neither or both. People can also be fluid, feel more like female, more like male, based on a different day or time. It's really individual.
Absolutely.
Everyone born with a vulva is a girl. True or false?
Or identifies as a girl. Well, not everybody is sure, and that makes sense. But our genitals actually don't determine our gender. So some people born with vulvas can be boys.
What are your preferred pronouns? Zezem.
Papa, Nini, Nopa, Nori, Opa, Pere, Pom-Pom, Zaza, Zizi.
Trixic, toric, feminimoric, viramoric, allosexual.
They, them, theirs. They're customizable. Anything can be a pronoun, really.
Neurodivergent, noun self pronouns. Animal, noun self pronouns.
Neopronouns.
So gender dysphoria is
gender euphoria.
I describe myself as agender.
What is androsexual? Genderqueer person.
Homosexuality, bi doesn't really fit them, lesbian doesn't really fit them, pan, asexual, etc.
Asexual, demisexual, and cupiosexual.
Ultrasexual.
Ace flux. Asexuality and allosexuals.
neuroqueer. Gray sexuality.
I'm demisexual.
Jexera is a gender identity that's similar to being a girl.
Let's talk about cupiosexuals and cupio-romantics.
Let's talk about libidoist and non-libidoist asexual.
Pangender.
Non-asexual aromantic and allosexual aromantic.
Micro-labels. People with penises or people with vaginas, rather than saying male and female or men and women.
When suddenly my gender decides to change right before bed. I'll just be vibing, and then it'll be like, binder time. No, Michael, it's not binder time, it's bedtime. Binder time. Number 3, in the frickin' middle of the day. I'll be walking all happily along, and then suddenly, boom, gender change. No, now is not the time, Michael. I have a day to run. I don't need this dysphoria right now.
Guys, let's talk sexuality, specifically asexual, demisexual, and cupiosexual. Asexual people don't experience sexual attraction. Some ace people are touch and sex repulsed, while others just don't experience or understand sexual attraction. Asexual people can still be in happy, healthy, functioning romantic relationships as they still feel romantic attraction, just not sexual attraction, not to be mistaken with ace-aro. Aro stands for asexual aromantic. Ace-aro people are perfectly happy with the platonic relationships they have in their life and they don't need anything more. Up we have demisexual. Demisexual people only feel sexual attraction after a strong personal bond is made, so basically they're asexual until that bond is made, and after they only feel sexual attraction for that person. Lastly, we have cupiosexual. Cupiosexual people are asexual people who still desire a sexual relationship but don't experience sexual attraction. Cupiosexual people may decide to have a sexual relationship despite not feeling sexual attraction while others don't. Both are completely valid and communication is key.
Where is the scientific information about the rate of regret for people who've had gender reassignment surgery? Where's the information about how the suicide rate for transgender people doesn't change long-term after surgery? Where's the information about the rate of minors, the 90% of minors who outgrow gender dysphoria by the time they're adults if they're not encouraged to transition? Where's the information about counseling to address the comorbid psychiatric disorders that are so common in people suffering from gender dysphoria? But none of that is included in your framework. 5-year-olds don't need to know about transgenderism. 5-year-olds don't need to know anything about sex. And if their parents want them to know about sex, then the parents should tell them. And the parents should decide what's normal and healthy and moral and safe.
So this new bill that was passed, you see it? The Senate bill 5395, this is a pedophile bill. This bill would teach children from K to 12 sex education. So they will be teaching kids how to masturbate, about watching porn, about all of these things. Look up this bill if you have children, if you have nieces and nephews that's in school. Look this up. I'm not lying. This is the sex education. If you look up there, it says sex education curriculum. This is the curriculum they're going to be going by. I put in kindergarten. Look at what it says, lesson plan with Amaze video. Now I'm going to show you what Amaze video is. These are the Amaze videos. Should I feel bad about watching porn? Is it normal to watch porn? What is transgender? All of these things. They even teach masturbation. Masturbation to kindergartners. This was on TMZ. A teacher reportedly shows students a video cartoon series called Amaze. A little boy in the video asks about erections. Read what it says. Just read it. And this is what they're using. This Amaze stuff. And I just showed you what type of stuff they on. Yo, this is for pedophiles. These are prepping these kids. Watch your kids, yo. Y'all think I'm lying? Look what it says. What did that say? Masturbation, totally normal. How many times can a person masturbate in one day, basically? Females and masturbation. It shows videos on what areas the female can use to masturbate. It talks about clicks and all this other stuff. Yo, and they teaching these in school. They're going to start in the fall. And most states are going to start in the fall to teach this in the school. And then the rest of the states, they're going to have it in all of the schools by 2022. Yo, y'all better get on it.
The most alarming thing to me was that they were reading and encouraging other teachers to look at children's Google searches. One child, they said, had Googled Transgender Day of Awareness. He wanted to know, this child wanted to know what that was. And they had said, we need to make sure to invite that child back for, that child receives a personal invitation to the LGBTQ club. These were middle schoolers. These were sixth graders they were talking about surveilling. And they were talking about targeting, kids as young as, we're talking about 11-year-olds. For personal invitations to the LGBTQ club based on these children's internet searches. They talk about not taking roll so that when parents ask, is my child in this club? They can, basically plead ignorance. And not keeping records of this club. They said, effectively that, if you want to bring a new society into existence, it seems the way to start that is with children. And so they are, activist teachers are actively looking to recruit other people's children in their revolution. You have to ask yourself, if teachers are willing to make these remarks in a broad address, a sold out conference, what are they doing that we don't know about?
A curriculum that teaches public school students to celebrate the homosexual lifestyle and that gender is fluid. In other words, your gender is not dependent on what parts you were born with, but rather what you feel like in the moment.
There's people that are boys, there's people that are girls, there are people whose gender might be a little bit of both or might even be neither.
Lessons include books about transgender children, such as 10,000 Dresses, and songs like The Rainbow Song.
Gender won't decide the choices we make. Some boys like dressing up, some girls like catching snakes.
Another blaring example, Drag Queen Storytime. It's happening in Canada and America, where some public schools and libraries invite drag queens, some dressed like horned demons, to read to young children.
And it's a social deconstructionist agenda.
Little girl came home in tears because the teacher had told her, since she was playing with some toys in the class that were deemed to be masculine in nature, that she was likely a boy in a girl's body. The mother went to the school the very next day, and instead of having any sort of tolerance or support or understanding, she was actually called names. She was told that she was a homophobe, that she was a bigot.
Answer me why you're teaching pedophilia in school to ninth graders.
Teaching what?
Pedophilia, pederasty, right here.
I've explained to you that this is done because we are talking about historical perspectives of how gender relations and different types of sexual orientations have existed in history.
This is not about
something occurred and therefore we have to teach it. I mean, if that was the case, we'd be teaching all kinds of things. What it is about is normalizing every type of perversion. And I want people to realize here the implications of this. This is more than just confusing and perverting and sexualizing the children. Under California law, and this is the case in about half of the states now, and they're working on it at the federal law with the Equality Act, discrimination based on sexual orientation is illegal. So if pedophilia is a sexual orientation, do public schools now need to hire pedophiles so that we don't discriminate on their sexual orientation? Do churches need to hire pedophiles so that they don't discriminate based on sexual orientation to run their children's ministries?
We've seen it, haven't we, Alex? That at American public libraries and in public schools, we're inviting transvestites to come to read to our kindergartners who actually have records, twice it happened in Houston, for having molested kids in the past.
This video will show you the best ways to please your wife, girlfriend, flirt, or maybe even yourself. Before we show you the technique, we would like to give you 2 great tips. Don't start by fully inserting your fingers. Always spend time with foreplay. Make sure the vagina is sufficiently wet. This will give her more pleasure. This can be done through her own vaginal lubrication or by using a lubricant or saliva.
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
At first I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but I see now why you'd have a problem with that.
Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night to protests. Oh, and you'll be disgusted so gross when they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight. Like information. Guess what? You'll still be alright. We'll convert your children, yes we will.
Reaching one and all, there's really no escaping it.
'Cause even grandma likes RuPaul.
And the world's getting kinder.
Gen Z's gayer than Grindr. Learn to love, learn to vogue, face your fate. We'll convert your children. Someone's gotta teach them not to hate. We're coming for them.
We're coming for your children.
We're coming for them.
We're coming for them.
We're coming for your children.
We're coming for them.
We're coming for them.
Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. Your children will work to convert all their sisters and brothers. Then soon we're almost certain your kids will start converting you. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here.
Pass it, Squeaks!
Whoa! Watch it! You almost hit me in the pee-pee!
What's so funny, you two?
He said pee-pee.
Do you notice that when you say pee-pee, you giggle, but when you say penis, you say it in a serious voice?
I never noticed that before.
Some children and adults feel uncomfortable when they talk about their private parts, so they make up cute or funny names for them.
What's one for a girl's private parts?
Vajayjay!
Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air?
That's called an erection.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good.
Sometimes when I'm in my bath or when Mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
You have a clitoris there, Kayla, that probably feels good to touch the same way Keith's penis feels good when he touches it. But have you ever noticed that older kids and grown-ups don't touch their private parts in public?
So y'all need to hide your kids.
Hide your kids. Hide your kids. Hide your kids.